Podcast. Bristol Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the ARTSCARE Bristol Heavy Metal and Hard Rock Podcast. This is it, this is the big one, this is the special one. I've been working on it for about a month or so, something. I've been doing lots of research and just trying to dig around and just really get to the roots of metal and rock in Bristol. And that's what I've done, and what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do, what we're going to do together. We're going to go on a heavy metal musical journey, tracing the roots back from the late 70s, from the Nwobum days, straight to the 80s, to the 90s, the 2000s, the new metal stuff, up to the present day, and we'll have a little look at some of the metal bands and hard rock bands that are on the scene in Bristol. And so first up we had a band called SHIVA, who were a three-piece from Bristol, obviously, and I've been in touch with their bass player Andy Skews, so thank you very much, Andy. He's been sending me loads and loads and loads of really cool information and links, and you can check out their website. Andy's got a website that he runs. It's www.shivauk.pwp.blueyonder.co.uk. A little bit of a mouthful, but hopefully you'll get there in the end. It's well worth it because you get all the information about SHIVA that you could possibly need. And the track I played by them was called Rock Lives On, which is, in my mind, an absolute rock classic. I mean, why it isn't on all those sort of heavy metal, hard rock driving compilations that you get every 6 months or whatever, I have no idea. I'm on a crusade. I'm on a SHIVA crusade to let everybody know about the song. Even though Andy tells me that the band, it wasn't really their idea, it was their producer's idea, and just to get like a hit single sort of thing, and they weren't too convinced by it. But I think it's an absolute belter, so I'm pleased to play it. But the album Fire Dance that they released, it's a bit more proggy and a bit more kind of a little bit more sort of out there. And I think it's more what they wanted to do. So definitely check out SHIVA. And then after that we had JAGUAR, great Bristol Nwobum band. Well, both of these bands are Nwobum bands, and if you don't know what Nwobum is, it means new wave of British heavy metal bands. So, bands that came out in the late 70s, early 80s, kind of around the time of Iron Maiden and Saxon and all that sort of stuff. A really cool thing about JAGUAR is the fact that Lars Ulrich, the drummer from Metallica, handpicked a JAGUAR track, Backstreet Woman, to be on a compilation album that Lars compiled about 10 years ago, maybe a bit longer, maybe 20 years ago, I think it was the early 90s. It's Nwobum 1979 Revisited. And he handpicked JAGUAR, a band from Bristol. Lars Ulrich handpicked one of their tracks as basically being an influence on Metallica. So that's pretty cool. Bristol can stake a claim in the rise of one of the most important metal bands ever. The band was founded in 1979 by guitarist Gary Peppard. And in the current lineup, he's joined by Jamie Manton on vocals, Simon Patel's on bass, and Will Seeley's on drums. The band released a classic Nwobum new wave of British heavy metal album in 1982, I think it was. It's an album called Power Games, which, when you listen to it, you can just hear how Metallica must have listened to that, with everything else, took it and ran with it and kind of formed modern thrash metal and heavy metal as we know it today. So, I can't recommend that album enough. So Power Games. Look it up, it's all over on YouTube. Check out JAGUAR and Wikipedia. They've got a Facebook site and everything. Just type it in, you can find it. I asked Gary from JAGUAR, what advice would he give to any new up-and-coming metal bands in Bristol and beyond, wherever, really, and his main piece of advice was just to be dedicated and to rehearse at least 4 times a week, because that's what they used to do. So stick at it and try to be original as much as possible. So there you go, words to live by in my book. Okay, so now what we're going to do now, we're going to slightly move along in the timeline of the hard rock and heavy metal scene in Bristol and Bath, and what we're going to do, we're going to move up to like kind of mid-80s now with a band that I found through the Bristol Archive Records website. I don't know if any of you know about Bristol Archive Records, but it's a great resource for finding all about bands from like the late 70s through to the early 80s and mid 90s, and it's run by Mike Darby, who also runs Sugar Shack Records. He's a very knowledgeable chap on the scene, and I just got in touch with him and sort of asked him if he could sort of give me some information about some bands that may be of interest to this particular podcast. He gave me some names which I'll talk about later, but while I was digging around, I found this band called RIPCORD, and they're actually from Weston-super-Mare, and they're a kind of anarcho-punk, crust-punk, thrash hardcore band, and I was just blown away by them. They sort of remind me of like the rawness of the Misfits, with the kind of like energy and madness of bands like Crass and Discharge, who if you know about heavy metal, you'll know that those bands are pivotal in terms of like influence in early thrash metal stuff. So what I want to do, I want to play a track from RIPCORD's Defiance of Power EP, and this is the actual title track. It's only 17 seconds, but it's absolute pure tear your face off hardcore thrash punk. Students
now, don't you see? The ones who get the most, guaranteed a place in heaven, and they can watch the burning souls below, clap their hands with glee. Fear of God! The fear of God! Your priorities are wrong! Your faith is blind! Crush awake! Uphold the strong! Burn the brain! Burn! Burn!
Fear of God. Yes, that was AMEBIX there, who were like an absolute classic crust punk, anarcho-punk band, and they took influences from other bands like Killing Joke and Pill and things like that, and they kind of slowed things down a little bit. Yeah, hugely influential band, you know, they're kind of like, they've been cited as an influence by bands such as Sepultura and Neurosis, you know, who are themselves hugely influential. So, you know, it all goes back to a band formed in Devon. I think they formed in Devon, but then they kind of moved to Bristol and based themselves in Bristol, and you know, the rest is history, really. And that was a track called Fear of God from their much respected album Arise, which was released, bizarrely enough and coolly enough, on the Alternative Tentacles record label out of San Francisco, which some of you might know is the record label founded by original Dead Kennedys singer, Johnny Biafra. It's pretty cool. Right, okay, what we're going to do now, we're going to move on and we're going to look at thrash metal. When it comes to Bristol thrash metal, Onslaught are the kings of metal. They've been going for like 30 years, you know. They've just released a new record called The Sounds of Violence. It's an absolute cracker. I did an interview with the guitarist, Nige Rocket, from the band, and here's the audio from it. I did record it from Skype, so the audio is not the best, just to let you know, but we're cool with that. We can, you know, this is DIY, this is DIY podcasting. This is what it's about, man. So here we go. This is me talking to Nige Rocket from the band Onslaught. First up, I asked him if he could just tell us a little bit about the new record, The Sounds of Violence.